There is a specific kind of heartache that comes from watching something you have nurtured turn against you. You know the feeling. It starts with a small brown spot on the edge of a leaf, or a softness in the stem where there should be firmness. You touch it, hoping it is just dust, but your finger sinks in slightly. The smell hits you next. It is not the clean, earthy scent of soil after rain. It is sweet, yes, but it is a cloying, heavy sweetness, the smell of decay masked as ripeness. It is the smell of rot. You look at that plant, perhaps a cutting you took from your grandmother's garden, or a seedling you started weeks ago with such hope, and you feel a pang of guilt. You wonder what you did wrong. Did you water too much? Did you leave it in the shade too long? You think of the money spent on pots, on soil, on the plant itself, and you feel that small, sharp sting of waste. In our world, we are taught that waste is a moral failing. We are taught that if something dies under our care, it is because we were negligent. But I am here to tell you that this failure is not your fault. The modern world has forgotten the old way. We have been sold chemicals and complex systems when the answer was sitting in our cupboards all along. We have been told that nature is chaotic and needs to be controlled, when in truth, nature is orderly and only needs to be understood. By the time we are done here, you will not just have a trick. You will have the verified rules to ensure that rot never takes hold again. You will understand why raw honey does not just stop the decay, but triggers the very cells of the plant to wake up and begin anew. I am Isaac Beiler, and I keep house and farm here in Lancaster County the way it was handed down to me before the world got so fast. My hands are rough from the work, but my methods are gentle, because I have learned that force breaks what patience can mend. If you value this kind of plain, practical know-how that the world is trying to bury, I'd ask you to subscribe to this channel. It helps us keep these old traditions alive for the next generation. We do not chase trends here. We do not look for the newest gadget. We look for what works, what lasts, and what honors the land. Now, one honest word so you trust me. Honey is not magic. It will not bring a dead plant back to life. If the roots are black mush and the stem is hollow, no amount of gold in the jar will save it. This method is for prevention, for healing small wounds, and for encouraging strong growth in healthy cuttings. It is a tool, not a miracle worker. But used correctly, it is the closest thing to a miracle you will find in a kitchen jar. You must understand the system you are up against. Walk into any large grocery store or garden center, and you are walking into a machine designed to run on your ignorance. They sell you plastic pots that crack in the sun. They sell you bags of soil that are mostly filler, devoid of life. And then, they sell you the cure for the problems their products create. They sell you fungicides in bright blue bottles with warning labels that tell you to wear gloves and avoid breathing the fumes. They profit from your fear. They profit from the cycle of buy, fail, buy again. It is a system that runs itself on waste. Every time a cutting rots, every time a seedling dampens off, you are pushed back to the shelf to buy more. Contrast this with plain knowledge. The knowledge I share with you costs only pocket change. It requires no shipping containers, no corporate boardrooms, no advertising budgets. It requires only observation and respect for the materials God has provided. When you use raw honey, you are opting out of that cycle. You are saying that you do not need a chemical corporation to tell you how to care for a living thing. You are reclaiming the authority over your own garden. This is not just about saving money, though you will save plenty. It is about saving your peace of mind. It is about knowing that the substance touching your plants is food, not poison. Here is the first rule, and it is the foundation of everything else. You must use raw, unprocessed honey, not the clear golden syrup in the bear-shaped bottle. That is not honey. That is sugar water that has been heated until all its soul has been burned out. Heating honey destroys the enzymes. It kills the natural antimicrobial properties. You need the cloudy, thick substance that may even have bits of wax or pollen suspended in it. Look for the word raw on the label, or better yet, buy it from a local beekeeper who knows his hives. When you open the jar, it should smell like flowers and earth, not just sweetness. The science behind this is simple but profound. Raw honey has a low water activity. This means it pulls moisture out of anything it touches. Bacteria and fungi need water to survive. When you apply raw honey to a cut stem, it dehydrates the pathogens instantly. But it does more than that. It contains hydrogen peroxide produced naturally by an enzyme called glucose oxidase. This provides a gentle, continuous antiseptic action that keeps the wound clean without burning the delicate plant tissues. So, Rule 1. If it has been pasteurized, leave it on the shelf. Only the raw will do the work. The second rule concerns the preparation of the cutting itself. You cannot simply dip a ragged, crushed stem into honey and expect it to root. The cut must be clean. Use a sharp knife or a pair of pruning shears that have been wiped with alcohol. A clean cut seals faster and offers less surface area for infection. Cut the stem at a 45-degree angle. This increases the surface area for rooting hormones to emerge, but more importantly, it prevents the cutting from sitting flat against the bottom of the pot, which can block drainage and cause rot. Remove the lower leaves. Any leaf that would sit below the soil line or touch the honey must be gone. Leaves rot quickly in moist environments, and that rot will spread to the stem. You want the energy of the plant focused on making roots, not sustaining dying foliage. Feel the stem. It should be firm. If it is limp, the cutting is already stressed. A firm stem indicates turgor pressure, which means the cells are hydrated and ready to work. This is the physical sign of vitality. Do not skip this step. A messy cut is an invitation to disease. Rule 3 is about the dilution. This is where many folks go wrong. They think if a little is good, a lot is better. They coat the stem in thick globs of honey. This is a mistake. Pure honey is so viscous that it can actually seal the stem too tightly, preventing the exchange of gases that the plant needs. Furthermore, undiluted honey can attract ants and other pests to your potting bench. The solution is to mix the honey with warm water. The ratio is important. Use 1 part honey to 9 parts water. Stir it until it is fully dissolved. This creates a solution that is still antimicrobial but thin enough to penetrate the microscopic openings in the plant's tissue. It allows the hydrogen peroxide to do its work without creating a barrier. Think of it as a tonic, not a plaster. You want the plant to drink it in, not just wear it. Always use level measurements. A teaspoon of honey in a cup of water is sufficient. More is not better. In horticulture, as in medicine, the line between cure and poison is often just the dose. The fourth rule is the application method. Do not pour the solution over the top of the soil. That is a waste. You must apply it directly to the wound. Dip the cut end of the stem into the honey water solution. Let it soak for just a moment. 10 to 15 seconds is enough. You want the tissue to absorb the solution. Then, let it drip for a second before planting. Some traditional growers call this sweetening the wound. It is a folk term, but it describes the process accurately. You are treating the trauma of the cut. After dipping, plant the cutting immediately into your prepared medium. Do not let it sit out in the air. The honey solution begins to work instantly, but it also begins to dry. You want it inside the soil, working on the cellular level. If you are grafting rather than rooting, you can brush the solution onto the cambium layers before tying them together. The principle is the same. Protect the exposed tissue. Encourage the cells to knit together. Rule 5 addresses the soil medium. Honey is not a substitute for good drainage. In fact, because honey retains some moisture, your soil must be exceptionally well draining. If you use heavy clay or dense potting mix, the combination of retained moisture from the honey and poor drainage will create a swamp. Rot loves a swamp. Use a mix of perlite, vermiculite, and peat moss, or a sterile seed starting mix. The goal is aeration. The roots need oxygen just as much as they need water. The honey protects the stem from fungal attack, but it cannot provide oxygen. You must provide that through the structure of your soil. Check the weight of the pot. A properly drained pot feels light after watering. A waterlogged pot feels heavy and dense. Learn to feel the difference. Your hands are your best tools. If the pot feels heavy 2 days after watering, your mix is too dense. Adjust it. Add more per light. Do not blame the honey if the soil is suffocating the plant. The sixth rule is about patience and environment. After planting, place the cutting in a warm, bright location, but out of direct sunlight. Direct sun will heat the pot and cook the tender new roots. You want indirect light. Cover the pot with a clear plastic bag or a dome to maintain humidity. This is crucial. The honey helps prevent rot, but the cutting has no roots to pull up water. It must absorb moisture through its leaves and stem from the air. The plastic dome creates a microclimate. Check it daily. If you see condensation, good. If you see mold on the soil surface, remove the dome for an hour to let it air out. Mold on the soil is different from rot in the stem. Soil mold is usually harmless, saprophytic fungi eating dead organic matter. Stem rot is the enemy. Watch the stem. If it remains green and firm, you are winning. If it turns black or translucent, the battle is lost. Remove it immediately to protect the others. Patience is required. Roots take time. Do not tug on the cutting to check for roots. You will break them. Wait 4 to 6 weeks. Trust the process. The seventh and final rule is consistency. Do not use honey once and then switch to chemical fertilizers. The honey solution can be used as a mild fertilizer as well. Once a month, water your established plants with a very weak honey water solution, 1 tablespoon per gallon. This feeds the beneficial microbes in the soil. Healthy soil microbiome is the ultimate defense against disease. The sugars in the honey feed the bacteria that fight off the pathogens. It is a cycle of life. By feeding the good guys, you starve the bad guys. This is the holistic view. It is not just about the cutting. It is about the entire ecosystem of your garden. Remember, always use level measurements. Too much sugar in the soil can lead to fermentation and sour smells. Keep it weak. Keep it consistent. This is not a quick fix. It is a lifestyle change for your garden. Now, let us speak of what most people throw away. In a kitchen run with care, there is no such thing as garbage. When you harvest honeycomb, or when you buy comb honey, there is often wax and debris left over. Do not toss it. This wax is valuable. Melt it down gently, never in a microwave, but in a double boiler, and use it to seal the tops of your grafts. Beeswax is waterproof and antifungal. It is the perfect companion to honey. Also, consider the propolis. Beekeepers often scrape propolis from the hives. It is a resinous substance bees use to seal cracks. It is incredibly potent medicinally. If you can get it, mix a tiny amount into your honey solution for stubborn cases of fungal infection. But even without propolis, the leftover bits of comb can be buried in your compost pile. They break down slowly, adding structure and nutrients to the soil. Worms love the wax. It teaches us that every part of the harvest has a purpose. To throw it away is to insult the labor of the bees and the wisdom of the hive. We must learn to see value where others see waste. This is the core of the Amish way. We do not discard. We repurpose. We respect. Let us look at the numbers plainly. A small bottle of commercial rooting hormone costs $10 to $15. It lasts for perhaps 20 cuttings. Raw honey, bought in bulk from a local farmer, might cost $20 for a pound. But a pound of honey can treat hundreds of cuttings when diluted. The cost per use is pennies. Over a year, if you are an avid gardener, you can save over $100 just on rooting agents. But the savings go deeper. How much do you spend on fungicides, on replacing dead plants, on soil amendments to fix compacted, lifeless dirt? These costs add up. A family can save several $100s a year by adopting these plain methods, but the return on investment is not just financial. Consider the quality of life. When you use honey, you are not breathing in synthetic chemicals. Your children are not playing in soil treated with harsh substances. They are learning that nature provides the answers. They see that a simple ingredient from the pantry can heal a living thing. This builds a connection to the earth that no app or gadget can replicate. It teaches them patience. It teaches them observation. It teaches them that they are capable of nurturing life. This is priceless. In a world that is increasingly disconnected and anxious, this simple act of gardening with honey grounds you. It reminds you that you are part of a cycle, not separate from it. I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what state you are in, your county, and how old your house is. I read every word. I like to know who is listening, who is carrying these old ways forward. Are you in a farmhouse that has seen a century of winters, or are you in a city apartment trying to bring a bit of green to your windowsill? It does not matter where you are. The principles are the same. The honey does not care about your zip code. It only cares that you use it with respect and knowledge. If you have found value in this teaching, if you feel that spark of understanding, please subscribe. It is a small thing, but it helps us reach more people who are tired of the waste and the chemicals. It helps us keep this channel running, keep the lights on, and keep the wisdom flowing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Go now, check your jars, and tend to your garden with a gentle hand.